And yes, I missed last week, but, you know, life gets in the way. And here we are, we're live to talk about Dragon of Icespire Peak, which is an old adventure at this stage. And there's a new starter adventure coming out, obviously, later in the 2025, which of course I will look into. Of course I'll do a guide to. And yeah, I'm just going live, trying to get some sort of live following. Unfortunately, it's having the negative effect of the viewership is getting smaller. But I like going live, so I will. And if one person finds these videos useful, then it's a good thing. And I find it useful because I'll learn to live stream. That's not what we're talking about right here, right now. I want to first look at this Eberron. So this is coming out later in the year, and I'm debating whether or not to actually bother buying it. $40. What's $40 in UK pounds? Like 30 quid? I'm not sure, but then I think there'll probably be postage and packaging on top of that. So if it was $39.99 in pound, that is, yeah, 30 quid. £30. That is for pre-order the digital or the ultimate bundle. The ultimate bundle. That means you get dice, but it's digital dice. Get approximately £62 worth of contents. Pick up the bundle to receive both the digital and physical editions, plus crap I won't use. But yeah, 30 quid. It's actually decent for both of them, which says to me that the Eberron book is bloody tiny. That's the only thing. I do worry that it's pretty worthless. Fuel your adventures with the rules expansion. What they've added is 4 revised artificer subclasses and 1 new subclass, the cartographer. I don't play like character play, so no good to me. 5 revised, so we've had them before, revised species, 17 backgrounds, 28 feats, presumably all linked to the world of Eberron. You can, new Bastion stuff, I'm kind of interested. I mean, ultimately I should get it because I'm a D&D content maker. And that's how I, excuse it. Over 20 new monsters. Hey, it's content. I should probably pre-order. Who am I kidding, really? I'm going to end up with it. But will it sit on my shelf like everything else? Not if I make videos about it, which I say to get on board with buying everything that I actually look at. Yes. So, that's not why we're here, is it? We're here to look at Dragon of Icespire Peak. And we're going to actually look, I plan to look at 2 different locations today, as the title probably hints towards. So Butterskull Ranch is where they are heading. If we go to the map, I trust you're seeing this. If we go to the map, we can see that Butterskull Ranch, from Fandolin, you've got the Tribal Trail, take a right, go through Conyberry, which isn't necessarily mapped out in this book, to Butterskull Ranch. But since you're passing the Shrine of Savras, it makes sense you would go there first. I see that as one journey. And then if you were to go to these ones north, you can go through any of these hexes and you're basically winging whatever the story is. Whether they attack all these in one go, I don't know. But have we got anything? We've got nothing to cover south, apart from the finale, Icespire Hold. So realistically, they might do these in pairs, but they're quite far apart. Okay, I might cover them in pairs. I haven't decided. But we're going to head towards Butterskull Ranch. It's none of the chapters in and of themselves are truly exciting. How am I doing this? I'll do. But let's look into it. So it's balanced. We know we're not to put too much trust in that for third levels, but characters of second level. Characters of fourth level should be fine. Yeah, so 2, 3, 4. That's fine. Take that with a pinch of salt anyway. They're not going to run straight there, are they? They have all those other first quests to do. And if you've taken any of my previous video ideas into consideration and you do XP, then you're probably going to be fine with this anyway. So there's a guy called Alphonse Calazard, and he used to be Sheriff of Tribor, where the Tribor Trail leads to. And I've never looked at Tribor, and I never even considered it was a place, but it is on the map in the big Faerun Sword Coasty map. So this guy retired a decade ago, but he didn't enjoy that, so he bought some farmland and turned it into a cattle and horse ranch. So this guy's effectively retired from work and living out a nice life with a pig farm, chicken coop, vegetable gardens, crops. And he sells the sale of Butterskulls, lumps of butter moulded into shapes of humanoid skulls. Why on earth would anyone think that is a good idea? I don't know. It's Tat the tourists buy, I think, is what the idea is. But he does sell some of them to Fandle in Barthen's Provisions. And the butter is made from his prize cow, Petunia. And that will come very slightly into the story. It's his prize cow. Now in the background, whether you've seeded this or fleshed it out when we've spoken to orcs, the orcs have been uprooted and shifted around the lands, which they keep to themselves, but now they're infiltrating common folk and they don't like it because of this white dragon, which is the ultimate boss your players are supposed to fight. So a week ago, a small band of orcs attacked the ranch because they're rabble-rousers. Some of the farm was set fire to, and the pigs got freed, and then the Petunia, the cow, escaped, which is a big problem. Big Al and 5 of his helpers on the ranch were not so lucky. Big Al was captured, and the ranch hands were all killed. Oh, the only surviving hand escaped so that we could find out this place was a place we needed to go to. So they must rescue Alphonse Calazorn and either convince him, if he's alive, to return to Phandalin or rid his farm of orcs. Also, find the damn cow. That's his literal cash cow, as they call it. So this Tribor Trail, the trek is 60 miles long. It takes about a day to get there. 2 long rests in the course of this journey. We've probably covered the rest times now to roll encounters, and probably don't need to do it now. You're probably a dab hand at that. So they go through Conybury, which doesn't, as I say, doesn't have much. It's kind of a desert town, deserted place. As the characters make their way through the ruins, they spot 3 unsaddled riding horses. Why 3? Not sure. 1 for each character, I would say. You've got 7 players, you've got 7 horses. And they are all branded with BAK for Big Al Calazon. That's fine. It's unnecessary, but sure. These are his horses. You found them, they've wandered out into Conybury. So you jump on these horsebacks and you start hot-footing it on horseback to from Conybury towards Butterskull Ranch. But then, before they get there, you say, well, yeah, but Shrine of Savras is signposted up there, so we should probably go there, which is why now you can spot Petunia the cow a few hundred feet off the Tribal Trail. She wears a cowbell, and you see those letters which stress, oh, these horses and that cow has the same branding on, so they belong to the same farm. So now we go to Butterskull. No, we go to the shrine because they're going to say, hey, well, while we're here, it makes sense to go up to the shrine. Yeah, 1 second. Now this is balanced for 1st to 6th level characters, not connected to any quest, but if they see it on a map, they'll be curious. Savras is a god of divination and fate. The shrine's priest seers foresaw a barbarian attack on Conyberry. Not all the townsfolk chose to run away, but those who did were the ones who brought much of the gold, and they took the gold with them. The barbarians eventually tracked the townsfolk to the shrine, besieged it, slaughtered everyone inside, and in the days leading up to the final battle, the priest helped the townfolk hide their gold in plain sight. They melted it all down and made a massive bell out of it, which makes very little sense, because they can just see a gold bell, you're going to take it. But many other creatures now occupy the shrine. Another gang of weir rats. We've had weir rats in a previous chapter, so potentially swap the weir rats out. I'm going to do the naughty thing now of asking AI what we could swap weir rats out for live. I'm running the Shrine of Savras in Dragon of Icespire Peak, and I don't want to use weir rats again because I've already used them. What enemies do I put instead?
For the Shrine of Savras in Dragon of Icespire Peak, you can consider using different creatures to keep things fresh. Here are a few suggestions. 1. Cultists. They can fit thematically, especially if you want to emphasize dark magic and rituals. 2. Animated armor or constructs. These can provide a unique challenge and fit the mystical nature of the shrine. 3. Elementals. A water or air elemental could tie into the magical and mysterious vibe of the shrine. 4. Golems. A stone or clay golem can serve as a powerful guardian. Mixing it up can keep your players on their
Right, so what I take from that, I liked the idea of constructs. What about gold constructs? That is better than just the bell. Some small 3 or 2 foot high constructs instead of the bell, or as well as the golden bell. But I like that rather than the weir rats. However, we need to look through the adventure and see what the weir rats are actually doing, and if they add anything special to it, but I doubt they do. So we've detoured from Butterskull Ranch because this seems like an obvious side quest. So, a ruin stands in the middle of a vast field. An old stone temple with a belfry jutting from its peak roof is enclosed by stone walls, some of which have collapsed. It's a ruin, now it's been attacked. There's a crumbling gatehouse, and then there's 3 or 4 towers that once stood on the outer edges all collapsed. Only one remains, and that has the golden bell in it. But there is an orc here watching for people approaching. Now, they might have found out that orcs, as I say, have spread around and can be found here and there. A little detail here, if the characters wait until nightfall, who does that? If you've got a party who actually thinks, well, I don't want to be seen, but let's wait it out, I really commend that. I think that's, they're invested, they're thinking it through. I like that. The clouds obscure the moon and you're able to get there quite close, even though there's dark vision at play. But if the orc spots the characters, it's group stealth checks. If you've got 4 players and 3 pass a stealth check DC, the group has passed even if one gets an out one. Just the majority rules. So the orcs will or shout out. And then we've got an adjustment table, which is, I guess, is a good demonstration to certainly newer DMs of how do we make an encounter more or less brutal, And of course, adding more and more monsters can be adjusted live, because if you've got 3 orcs and they're getting torn through, another wave. You've always got another wave. And failing that, you've got 6 orcs and they're pounding on the characters. 2 decides, life is worth too much and they run away. So you can always play it by ear. And this table is merely a suggestion. They don't know how the dice is going to act. You can have a wall collapse and just squash an orc completely, just as a cutscene sort of thing. They don't need to actually sword their way through every orc. There's lots of ruins, so you can have some monster who's not invested in any of this scene burst through the walls because of the sound of battle and just chomp down on an orc and walk away. So, but this is the map at large, the top of the building, and showing the gold bell in the top belfry here. You get in through S1 seemingly to a blocked portcullis, but the wall is down on the west, so they could saunter in and even get in via S9's crumbled walls and a little bit of S8. So we've got not much to it. Something in S10, hole in the ceiling. Yeah, you can get straight down into it from this hole. And F6 has the only remaining tower. The rest are crumbled. So S1, the gatehouse 20 feet high, the door's smashed in, but then you've got that portcullis. And it's a DC 25 athletics to... there's no need to. It depends how you're showing your map. If you've gone fog of war or if you've zoomed in, they have whatever option they need, but it can be lifted. You can do a group athletics check where 4 people all lift this door, and as long as their ultimate rolls added together total passes 25, allow it. It doesn't obviously have to be one guy. S2 is the courtyard itself. Courtyard itself is all around the building. So this is where the orcs and ogres camp. Okay, so there already are ogres. That's where must have got the ogres idea from. So what else is there? Trolls. Maybe trolls and ogres, fight each other. A random troll. Giant. A random giant comes through and takes the side of the goodies, not meaning to, but just wants to eat or kidnap a orc or ogre. It's cool. It's cool. And you're changing the environment by putting rubble, difficult terrain, and so yeah, just an example of how you can alter the fight difficulty on the fly. So then we go through the usual northwest towers, rubber, nothing, and southwest tires, nothing, southeast tires, nothing. And then there's only one tower remaining. There's an iron ladder inside. You come up through a trapdoor, and there would be the orc watching the surrounding countryside. Can be snuck up on in moonlight. Then S7 is the main hall and the belfry. There's human bones all over. Why is there? Because the orcs, I guess. Yeah. No rope hangs from the bell, which appears to be made from copper. The belfry can be reached from outside by climbing up the walls. Bit of a, check. You can spider climb up there or fly. So you can get up there, but you realise it's actually gold. But it's been covered with a peeling copper paint, so it's not obvious. Which you could also do with constructs if you have constructs here instead of weir rats. You cover them in a fake bronze paint. The bell, which is 3 foot wide, doesn't matter. You can make it fall. Anyone underneath it an orc just outright gets squashed. It doesn't really matter. So that's, you've got to summarise these points, haven't you? There's not too much to remember of these. That's what I like about these starter points. I think once you've DM'd a little bit, and I've just explained it the way I'm doing, very quick, very, bullet pointer, you're like, I understand. There's one guy on the roof, there's a fake painted bell, what's gold, some orcs, some ogres, and some interruptions if I need it. Players, which way do you want to go in? Oh, well, that way's open, that way's locked, that way's, walled in. It's nice. It's a nice size. S8, this where the were rats were. The room contains 6 beds and mouldy mattresses. Doesn't really say there's anything in there right now. And then S9, where a priest used to eat and sleep. Okay, Savras himself, or priests of Savras. S10, let's have a reminder, S10. S10 is the kind of the final room. Yes. So S10, the final room. 6 stone pillars bracing the wall. So immediately you could knock some of these pillars out, the players could. And then the temple collapses, which is also pretty cool. If you're doing that at range, that's good. Also covered in dust are 4 humanoid skeletons in these priests, lying around here and there. Carved into the front of the altar is a humanoid eye. Is that because of Savras? We could look into that. I don't think it's necessary. It could be a temple to anybody. So there is an aura of divination magic around the altar. If Cryovane has been slain, I doubt that's going to be the situation. Very much doubt it. You touch the altar and experience a vision. You are incapacitated. In the vision, the characters float through the roof of the shrine upwards towards Icespire Hold. You see the white dragon asleep on the fortress's rooftop. You now know exactly where to go. A character will receive this vision only once. Any character who searches the altar realises the altar's base doesn't quite touch the floor. The altar can be moved out of the way. And there is a coffer, a little wooden coffer with a little bit of gold and a mystery key. Mystery key? A question mark is worked into the head of this key. This key has a 5% chance of unlocking any lock into which it's inserted, which is pretty cool. You roll a D100. You can set it to 10% whatever, but you use the percentage to decide how many, if that's possible, to open any door that they come across. I think that's pretty cool. And because this set comes with cards, you've got a mystery key card, so you can give the player that. Which obviously can be made pretty damn quickly anyway, if you wanted to. And that's that really. That was their detour. And let's say they rest. They rest there. You can roll for random encounters. Usually that is a case of having people roll a d20 on watch, and 18, 19 or 20 is when they get a random encounter. And you go to your random encounters book, or pre-planned, and run that. We've discussed all that before. Arriving at this ranch, it's a large plot of land nestled between 2 hills. It's got orchard and growth areas. Used to have a smithy. What did it have here? Destroyed smithy, destroyed barn, pasture, orchard, cornfield, outhouse. So the farmhouse itself has a entrance level, an upper level, and a bit of a cellar. It's also got a well, and I always think you should drop things at the bottom of the well, make it worthwhile people going down. Okay, the farmhouse. Description, describe a farmhouse. Raucous orcs, more bloody orcs, dwell in the farmhouse. Are there other orcs? I wonder if there are other orcs. 1 second. So this is when I would normally grab a third-party book and go to orcs and just see if anyone's... I got 4 of these books. So, orc, yes. Okay. I've got 3 orcs in here. Just, if we don't have orcs, make it a bit different, you know? So, I know you're not going to see this too great. Something called a Black Sun Orc. AC 14, hit point 65. Strong as an ox. It seems like a regular alternate. Then the Black Sun Priestess Orc. AC 13, hit point 67. Then we've got the Green Abyss Orc, which you can use these stats for. And that is AC 13 and hit points 15. So not as many, but they seem to all work around poison. But if we're going to use the same thing, you can find variety. That's my point. Where were we? There we were. That's why it's worth getting third-party books. So the one's the kitchen. All the usual stuff you'd find in a kitchen. So you can find daggers, knives, forks, whatever. And then an empty foyer, okay. Dining room, cattle skulls on the walls, not much. Dining ware, again. 3 dragon ante playing cards. I like that. Dragon chess pieces. So, something that the players might be able to use. That is decent. Why don't every room have some indication of something useful? The kitchen has a large carving knife. What are those? Meat cleaver. Big meat cleaver. Or a weapon that an orc has put down that they carry. That's all. Rather than just saying, yeah, you know what, it's got dining room stuff. I don't like it. Big Al's bedroom. He's not there anymore, but there's treasure to be found. Mithril chainmail, light and flexible. It doesn't have disadvantage. It doesn't give disadvantage on stealth checks because it's so light and cool. You can apply that not just to chainmail, but to any piece of armor that one of your players wears. Oh, can it be gauntlets? Yes, let's say it's gauntlets. Easy. B7, the ranch hand's bedroom. Again, it says worthless personal effects. It's always nice to provide something. Letters to a big city, talking about the world at large, or a map, or, something. A sketch of a dragon they saw cry over, something that points either to a massive adventure, mysterious, a curiosity factor, or a clue about this is coming ahead of you. Now, he had an office where he did all his work, 10 years worth of business transactions. So thumbing through that, they find a sack. It has nothing more than some money in it. I don't do copper, I don't do silver, I only do gold. If anything costs less than the gold, I don't even charge them for it. I just say, yeah, it's some copper. You don't have to deduct anything. There's a mop, a broom and a bucket in a closet. Wow, brilliant. Cold storage. We're already at room 10. This is it. We've walked through, a pretty bland building. We walked all this way for pretty much nothing so far till we get to the final room. So, orcs potentially need to be around outside and in this building. It needs to be like a fight your way through all these bad guys. So a Black Sun orc wizardy guy sounds like fun, who can attack at range. Maybe he controls all the other orcs on the plantation. They have some sort of gem in their head that is the same as the end of his wand staff thing. Just to make it interesting. And our guy who we're trying to rescue is down in the cellar. He's bound up. It takes 1 minute for a character to free Big Al from the rope bonds. Why so long? He has only 9 health points, and he can fight, but he's not great. I wouldn't have him fight. He would rather stay, borrow a weapon, and kill as many orcs that remain. It's a Pulp Fiction style scene where he's been kidnapped down in the cellar, and he comes out and he just massacres them all. And then he's, hey, by the way, Al, we've brought your cow back. Oh, you can have our mithril chainmail. What if they've already pocketed it and they're like, yes, okay, cool. I would say he wouldn't like that. So maybe you have to deal with the, oh, I see you've already took it. Well, I guess that's your reward. Or you say, look, I was going to die. I'm absolutely fine with it. Here, let me give you some money. Or let me give you a part in the business. We start doing some long-term businesses. Almost like they can build a bastion here on the grounds. That would be quite good. Somewhere to return to from their adventures that you end up doing. Yeah, I'd just say they find Petunia. So there's not much to that, really, is there? It's a bit too quick. I don't like having all these places that have such little stuff to do. I mean, we got through that pretty quick. What's next? Because I do have the DLCs as well, but I need to judge. Well, if they're at Butterskull Ranch, they're not going to walk back to Fandelver from Butterskull, are they? The Woodland Manse. Let's look at that. Click. Woodland Manse is balanced for 5th or 6th level characters. Okay, so we're going into a woodland. We've got woodland things to get on the way, whatever you want to do. Possibly even a fairy circle, a fair circle, a fairing to get fair creatures through and have them annoy the players. So, a half-elf wizard interested in exploration of ancient elven ruins built a stone house in Neverwinter Wood. It fell into disrepair and then been engulfed by ivy. Again, we've got a half-orc anchorite of Talos, which we looked at before. Granok took over the ruined house and planted seeds at the bottom of its well. And then this malignant tree grew to fill the well, and it's spitting out blight creatures. They obey Granok and defend his woodland house and kill trespassers within the forest. Okay, we need to eradicate the evil, and then their rewards await them at Falcon's Hunting Lodge, which I don't think we've done. Let's have a quick look. We have not done that. Okay, cool. Coolio. Yep, don't need to know any of that. We've got the idea. Let's look. Following a trail, you come to a foggy clearing. There's a 2-story building hidden beneath thorny ivy. Pumpkins grow in wild patches, and there's a boar that snorts as you come near. I believe this was the boar that nearly killed my child's character. So yeah, this is the upstairs. It goes on top of this map. There's the pumpkin patches all around, and the big well with the tree coming out of it, the blight spewing tree in the middle. These are boars who are actually anchorites. They can shape change. Okay, they're in boar form. There's 9 of them. Pretty meaty before we do any upping of the enemies. Now, some of these boars might just be boars, and he says you can roll for that. You alter as required. The pumpkins give off an aura of transmutation, and you can reveal seeds inside, which regains hit points. Very nice. Very nice. But you can only have so many seeds and so many hit points in one sitting, basically. So otherwise they'd just farm the seeds, wouldn't they? Yeah, so area 2 with a portico and a balcony. The balcony hangs over. They could go upstairs just to be awkward. There's a double door with a giant boar's head crudely carved into it. Yeah, you can climb up and use the vines, basically, to get in there. Which they sometimes do, or at least one does. Downstairs is a hole which is trapped. The stairs have been weakened on purpose so that when you stand on it, you crumble and fall through to wooden spikes. That's nice. There should be more things like that, more traps. W4, the door is smashed to pieces, it's all broken up. There's a mouldy rug, not interested. So dining room, crude drawings in blood depict a boar. They really go with the boar theme. If they've met the shape change anchorite of Talos on the way to the camp and let it get away, small twig figures rest on the mantelpiece, each one representing a party member. These are twig blights that are attacked if touched. And there's a tiny candelabra. Rubbish. So nature's gone through the kitchen. Again, basically all we're hearing is there's nothing here. Rats have done stuff, nothing here. Area 8, stone steps lead down to a courtyard, and any orcs that have not been dealt with, put them here. Put more orcs here, another fight. The Gulthius tree. The Gulthius tree is also mentioned in Sunless Citadel, which was an old adventure. But you can have weird blights, vine blights, twig blights, needle blights, pop out of this weird tree, and they are essentially spawning evilly and looking after the area at large, because Granok wants the area to be protected. On the first turn, when they enter the courtyard, whereupon Granok commands the vine blights to emerge from the well and use their attacks on the nearest enemies. That's fine. So Granok is a dude, an anchorite of Talos, yes. That's who we met, I think, out at the Tower of Swords. Looking dude. They have to do Thunder Wave, Lightning Bolt, which is nasty. Average of 58 health. I mean, when you have a lot of these, I can see why my son's character on his own, or no, with a sidekick, nearly did die, or did die, and got rescued as a plot armor kind of system. In Area 9, we have the Apprentice's Room. It used to be a bedchamber, kitchen and dining room all rolled into one. The wizard who built this manse had 4 apprentices. And they pillaged the library and took all their personal things with them. So there's more orcs in 18. They can hear sound and come and investigate. The laboratory. There's symbols of Talos, the evil god of storms, because, again, that's where the other anchorites were. Where the lightning bolts converge, a half-orc wearing hide armour performs an eerie dance while consuming entrails of a dead possum. There's the main guy, and there's Twig Blights, as if he needs backing up, but sure, why not? Granok has a map scrawled on a torn-off flap of a leather satchel. It shows Neverwinter Wood and marks the location of the Circle of Thunder. The Circle of Thunder. Okay, so somewhere else we've got to go. What was that? What was that chapter called? Swords of... I've gone blank now. Tower of Storms, yeah. The Circle of Thunder, somewhere different. Okay. W11. This room has a balcony on the upstairs of it. There's a secret door. A secret door in a bookcase, always. What do we get? The books found here are old Elvish text. Its pages are cut out to do a dust of disappearance. A fine sand, enough for one use. Throw it into the air, cover yourself invisible for 2d4 minutes. But not, you're invisible, but you're still there. The master bedroom. 4-poster bed, a fireplace, nothing out of the ordinary there. But a detect magic shows conjuration from the fireplace mantle. You search it, you find there's a lid, and there's a staff of bird calls. The wooden staff, it has 10 charges. Expend a charge to do a finch's chirp, a raven's caw, a duck's quack, a chicken cluck, a goose's honk, a loon's call, a turkey's gobble, a bird noise. It's a bird noise wand. Is that useful? It's kind of kooky. I like it for that. This is the magic item vault. It's been secret for years. There's a locked chest. A knock spell obviously opens it up, but you can just smack hell out of it. A cloak of billowing. You can take a bonus action to make it billow dramatically for a minute. That is the kind of thing I like. Give them loads of stuff that is purely cosmetic. It doesn't break the game, but it's just funny. It's flavour. It can keep giving. And the chest contains an immovable rod, which is incredible. Once you put it in the middle of the air, it stops there. You press a button, it cannot be moved. Cannot be moved. So you can use it for all sorts of climbing, you know. Keep pressing the button and jumping up with it. It's a bit of a DM's nightmare, can be. So the upstairs hall. The staircase we've already covered. There's a head of an ankheg. And there's some sturges. Sturges suck your blood and can reduce you down to death's door. But probably won't, because these have to be high level characters to pretty much to fight all these anchorites we put there. There's a bathroom. There's a rooftop. You can fall through the roof or off the roof. Double doors. Guest room. Hostile orcs in league with 4 orcs in addition to orc for each character of the party. Woof. Orcs galore here. And then when the characters finish exploring the manse, they are attacked as they exit as well. This is what nearly killed my unrested single player. Needle blights emerge from the woods, a boar and anchorites. And it can be a lethal attack. The day after the characters attack the manse, dark clouds settle over the wood, and the anchorites stage a counter-attack against Falcon's hunting lodge. Gorthok, the Thunder Boar, smashes through the lodge's side, allowing 20 orcs to storm the lodge. If they're not characters aren't present, Falcon and his servants flee on Falcon's riding horse and make their way to Phandalin, surrendering the lodge to the orcs. Gorthok, the Thunder Boar, looks damn cool. AC 15, 73 average health, speed of 50, immune to lightning, immune to thunder, and if it takes 27 damage or less, is reduced to 1 hit point instead of 0. Makes 2 melee attacks with +8, 12, +7 lightning. Damn. Thunderous hooves. Reach of 10 feet as well, both these attacks. 12 +7 seems to be standard thing. Or it can do 18 lightning damage as well. It is literally, and figuratively I guess, a beast. And that is 3 sections of this adventure. We are flying through them. I'm quite eager to get to the DLC, and maybe next week we will cross off Circle of Thunder, Loggers Camp, Falcon's Hunting Lodge, and we're probably done. So it's a nifty little adventure, and because when you can build it out with quite a lot. I also saw that in Acquisitions Incorporated book, there's also a Phandalin part of that adventure, so you could actually, incorporate that story as well as the Lost Mines of Phandelver. Take it where you want. It's very cool. Anyway, that is it. There's no one to talk to, because no one is watching. Literally no one. But there, I deliver it for you for video on demand playback. I put in the effort. It's here forever. And I bid you Farewell.